this video, you'll understand one of the basic concepts used to create a predictive scenario in Smart Predict, the variable roles. Variables correspond to column values in your dataset or a dimension of a planning model. In your database or planning model, you have information about your customers such as names, jobs, and salaries, and these are examples of variables. You need to assign different roles to the variables to create your predictive model. The target variable, also called a signal variable in a time series predictive scenario, is the column of the dataset or the dimension of your planning model that corresponds to your business question. For example, a category membership or value to forecast. In other words, it's the variable that you want to explain or predict the values for. In the training data source, the values for the target variable are known as the predictive model learns from these historical values. Whereas in the application data source, the values are unknown as they need to be predicted by the predictive model. The date variable is the variable used for the time dimension in the time series forecasting predictive scenario. The granularity of the historical data in your training data source will determine the granularity of the prediction. For example, if your historical data have been collected on a monthly basis, the predictive model will forecast in months. The supported date formats might differ depending on your data source. You can find more details in the Smart Predict documentation. When you create a time series forecasting predictive model, you can optionally select up to 5 columns, dimensions, or attributes from your data source for which you want to get distinct forecasts. Smart Predict uses the entity you've selected to split your data source to create one predictive model per entity. This way, it generates far more accurate predictions that fit with the characteristics of each entity. Influencers are variables that describe your data and which serve to explain a target. Unless excluded, all variables that aren't already assigned to a role are considered as influencers, with only the most significant ones being retained after training for debriefing. During the predictive model creation, you can decide to exclude influences from the training process. These are not taken into account to compute a predictive model, not included in the generated statistics, not retrieved from the data source, and not needed when you apply the predictive model to an application data source. For example, you can exclude an influencer because of legal constraints, when this influencer can hide the influence of other influencers, or when you know that this information will soon not be available. To see more on Smart Predict in SAP Analytics Cloud, check out the SAP Analytics Cloud channel on YouTube or visit our SAP Help Portal site.